The zone of proximal development is something that is usually associated with more traditional teaching in brick and mortar middle schools, high schools, and colleges. But the zone of proximal development has its place and absolutely belongs out in our barn and in the arena. And it's something that as adaptive, or also called therapeutic horseback riding instructors, we need to be aware of what it is, how we use it, and how impactful this tool is to have in our back pocket, because it is a complete game changer when it comes to being able to teach our students new skills, challenge them appropriately, see progression, and above all, keep them safe. My name is Saebra Pipoly, and I'm the owner and founder of Hoof Falls and Footfalls. And through Hoof Falls and Footfalls, I am on a mission to help educate, equip, and encourage fellow adaptive horseback riding instructors around the globe. And one of the ways that I love to help educate and equip and encourage instructors is to do in-person clinics. Because even though online training is great and videos are awesome and so are podcasts, hands-on, in-person, face-to-face is just not able to be replaced at all. So the video that you're going to see here in a few seconds is a recording of a live adaptive instructor development clinic that I taught. And the clip that you're going to be watching is from our discussion on zone of proximal development. So I hope you enjoy learning more about this topic and get a key takeaway. I'd love to hear down in the comments, have you heard of the zone of proximal development? Maybe you've heard of it, but you didn't know what it was. And do you now know how to apply it out in your lessons and in the barn? And how is it going to impact you as an instructor? Give me one thing of how you're going to take this information about the zone of proximal development and apply it in the next set of lessons that you go teach. And oh, by the way, if you like this type of education, so digging into instruction theory and teaching tools and all that fun stuff that just make us better instructors so we can better teach our students, make sure you check out the Intuitive Instructor Club. That is an online video platform and membership group that has, at the time of recording, over 200 videos in there made specifically for adaptive horseback riding instructors. So lots of good information in there. Goes way beyond what I have here on YouTube. This is my free community service. Give back to you guys. The quality is not any lower by any means. But if you want more, check out the Intuitive Instructor Club. And then if you want more free or low-cost resources, check out hooffallsandfootfalls.com, which is my website, and that will give you links to my free instructor blog, resources I have, free classes and online clinics and all that good stuff. So enjoy. I hope you like this presentation and you learn something new. The zone of proximal development, or like your sweet spot for learning. So have you guys heard of like your sweet spot for learning or zone of proximal development before? Yeah, okay. So in here in the middle, sorry, these are a horrible set of circles. In here in the middle, this is like where we are comfortable. This is the things I know how to do. I'm good at it. It's not hard, like doesn't cause any uncomfortable feelings, no good stress, because they're actually stress and being challenged. The cascade of hormones and neurochemicals that happen from that actually help you learn. So everyone's like, oh, we can't have stress environment and like stress is bad. We're actually hindering learning because we are de-stressing too much. You actually need some of that to lay down new memory pathways. So eustress, so good stress, is actually needed for all of us when we learn. And I know a lot of our students, especially the volunteers, they're like, oh no, they're struggling. No, let me help and jump in and fix it for them. But we've probably just stopped a really good learning opportunity. So in here, this is where, that's like our sweet spot. We can do it without much help. Safe zone, this is where everybody kind of likes to sit because it's easy. Out here, this is gonna be our zone of proximal development, or like you could call it the Goldilocks zone. You could call it the sweet spot. There's lots of different like little names for this here. But what happens is once we get into our zone of proximal development, this is where we can do something, but with some type of help. So we can do it But we need some help of like maybe the instructor gives us verbal prompts. Maybe we need a physical prompt for a while. Maybe we're doing it, we're learning a new skill at a walk before a trot. So like there's a bunch of different factors that we can play with to push somebody from their comfort zone out into their zone of proximal development, which is where they're learning, okay? So for you guys, your zone of proximal development is gonna happen in this clinic too. So you guys might have some uncomfortable feelings pop up because you're like, oh, like that's new terminology. Like I'm trying to piece together all the things, the body parts. Like if you feel that uncomfortable learning challenge, lean into it because that's showing that you guys also are right here. This is a good thing. I teach my students about this so that when they feel frustrated or when it feels hard, we push into that, at least at the barn. I understand sometimes at school and at home, like there's different factors, but I try to make my barn a safe space where my students, it's good to feel those feelings because it means I'm gonna get better. But the next few times it might be hard, but then, oh cool, we're gonna go back and we're gonna look and see now that thing that used to be hard is back here. So we can push people in that zone of proximal development just a little bit. We can kind of have them in the middle and we can have them all the way out here on the edge. And we call it scaffolding. So we have different things that we use to support. Think about like, the scaffolds that you put on the side of the buildings. And then as you get the building built and they have the foundation, we can pull that scaffolding away, right? So same thing with our students. As they get practice, we can pull back that support as that new skill gets kind of integrated into here, okay? What happens when we go outside of that sweet spot of learning? What happens out here?
Fear.
Could be fear, yeah. Because this right here, you are asking them to do something that they just cannot do at all, even with help. And I see that happen a lot in lessons because we sometimes I see it go both ways. Of either we keep them here too much or we go way too out here because of the kind of the false sense of security sometimes or help with all the extra volunteers or like our horses are so good. Like sometimes we either don't challenge our students enough or we actually push them too far. And especially when we're working with different disabilities, we don't take a small enough step because we might be thinking in like how you or I would progress maybe. I would even say in traditional riding, we're really bad about this of jumping from here way out to here. And then it's like, well, tough luck, like you're gonna fall off. And that's the whole you're gonna fall off anyways mentality is actually, the more and more I do it, I think we're pushing people out here. And no, will you probably come off at some time? Yes, but does it have to be a big accident? No, we probably skip something. So out here, so yeah, you said fear, right? So they might experience fear. What else might we see when we push our students too far out here?
Failure, defeated.
Yeah.
Shut down. Maybe shut down.
Shut down.
Yeah.
Yes.
Resistance.
Now, how would this shutdown and resistance look different than a student that's in the middle and I'm not challenging them? Because could we still technically have behaviors here? But I think that's a good word. I like that because shut down, you kind of like go inward, right? You're starting to self-protect. What are we going to see here though when they're not challenged?
Bored.
Yes. Yeah, so they're bored and they're shut down, but not really. They're just somewhere else that's more interesting, right? So it's not, yeah, we could see resistant behaviors, but this stems from probably boredom and them being like, I don't want to, pay attention in class because like all my volunteers are doing it for me. So why do I even have to pay attention? So we have different behaviors that are going to happen depending on if we're here or here, right? So being able to read those quickly as instructors, teaching our volunteers to see that too, can help us keep our students in this zone of proximal development. We should try to always stay out of this outer ring because that's where accidents happen. That's also where we get a lot of fear and frustration. Does it happen though? Yeah, there's times where I thought we were ready. I had pushed, a smidge too far, but it's reading it quickly so I can pull them back. In our lessons, we do want to go back and forth in between this sweet spot and in between zone of proximal development, because this is where we can also kind of coast and have a brain break, and they can go, do what they can do with less help. Give them a moment. It's a really good confidence builder, but then we push out into that learning zone again. So that's also what I'm going to try to do in here with you guys, is kind of give and take, push you guys back and forth in between what you guys know and then new stuff. And then we're going to try to tie it back and get you guys back in there. So we're kind of coming back and forth. Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I think like with some of the students, that zone of proximal development is like really.
Oh, it's like
really narrow.
It's like right there.
So sometimes just even questioning them doing something different.
Yeah.
Can just be
like,
Phew.
And can that then, good on that, could that change from like lesson to lesson too?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Depending on the mood, if they're hungry, if they're tired.
Right?
What's happening?
Exactly. Yep.
Forgot their meds.
Yeah. So for like teachers and social work, like not putting down what you guys do at all, but you guys have the human factor, you have your environment, you have the family factor. As instructors, what else though do we have that we have to come into play that affects if they're in or out of that zone of proximal development? We have the horse, environment, volunteers. Are they in a group lesson? Do we have new people? And plus all the other stuff that comes in, right? So we have a lot more factors to layer in. And I would say this too, of like, if someone is doing, they could do, athletic weight training stuff. Like, again, they have extra factors just beyond life. So anytime you're adding in additional pieces, we just have to be very, very good at knowing how to give and take and tweak stuff to keep them here and know how to get back in here when we need to. Okay? Good. Any questions on this? Okay, so what is this called? What does ZPD stand for? Yeah, and you guys can even, you can write your little circles on there and write zone of proximal development. Good. I need a wipey. So this is a huge thing of kind of once instructors understand this, this is gonna frame a lot of the other things that we're gonna be talking about, the TAC equipment, volunteers, horses, the different ways we can teach things and present things. And it's all with the goal of getting that student in that zone of proximal development as much as we need and being able to take them back out. So that's why I lead with this. And also because you guys are gonna be pushed in and out of it. And so I want to let you guys give you a heads up that there's gonna be moments of difficulty. There might be some moments even of frustration, and that's okay, and lean into it. So so that's part of having that growth mindset of knowing that those feelings are good.